natural medicine mostly. So we are live on YouTube now, and then we're going to go live on Facebook. There we go, live on the website, drmikepodcast.com, live on Facebook and live on YouTube. All right, we still have a little bit of a technical issue, but hopefully we'll get through this. We have our special guest today, Jennifer Cobb. She is an NFL alumni cheerleader and also part of a Parkinson's foundation by the name Team Gate, Way to a Cure. So welcome, Jennifer. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
So where are you right now?
I am currently in St. Louis.
And,
enjoying the 55-degree weather, and it's sunny today, which is a joy because it's been so cloudy and chilly.
Yes, well, I can't complain about that. We're in the 80s today, right, guys? Very good. That's right. So today we're going to talk a little bit about Parkinson's. We're going to go over Jennifer's story. It's a pretty interesting story, and that's what we'll do today. So before we start with Jennifer and her story, I want to talk a little bit about Parkinson's. Most people know it's a progressive nervous system disease, which basically affects movement. And it's basically the brain cells or nerve cells in the brain. They are degenerating and basically they are dying off. And what happens is that many of the symptoms of Parkinson's disease are due to the loss of those neurons that are responsible for the production of dopamine. And that's where Parkinson's evolves around the dopamine, right? Later, when we talk about treatments, that will become more clear too. So a lot of the symptoms of Parkinson's include tremors, bradykinesia, meaning slow movements. We have rigidity of the muscles, meaning stiffness, inflexibility. We have poor balance, poor posture, difficulty with walking, speech problems, swallowing problems, and all of those types of things. As the disease progresses, those things obviously become worse. So later on, we will talk a little bit about the treatments that are available, conventional and natural. But the cause of Parkinson's still today is unknown. And if you look at the Mayo Clinic, for example, they actually talk about two possible causes. Number one, a genetic cause. In other words, it could be a genetic predisposition. However, the Mayo Clinic says that that's very unlikely or very rare because many family members would have to have the diagnosis of Parkinson's. So that's not very common. We already learned about epigenetics also. It's an upcoming science, and it basically shows that even if we are predisposed to something genetic, we actually, with lifestyle changes, could change that and change our genetic predisposition for the next 7 generations. So look into epigenetics for sure. The second thing, Jennifer, also that they tell that could be a possible cause for Parkinson's is environmental factors or toxins. And obviously, we already know that toxemia is the cause of most disease anyways. For those who never heard me talk about toxemia, a very brief summary. Our body produces toxins all the time, but it's also able to eliminate those. However, if we ingest and are exposed to too many toxins, our body is unable to eliminate them all, and then they accumulate in the blood and the body, and that's what we call toxemia. So these excess toxins floating around in the body, they cause two major issues in the body. Number one, they cause free radical damage, which affects the cells negatively. And number two, they cause systemic inflammation. And we already know that even according to conventional medicine, systemic inflammation is the cause of all disease, right? So the easy solution here, and it is actually easy if you know what to do, is we need to reduce or eliminate toxemia. And the way to do that, simply said, is we need to reduce the ingestion and exposure of toxins while simultaneously increase the ingestion of nutrients that, number one, fight free radical damage, and number two, fight systemic inflammation. Okay, so that's toxemia. Now, the current research in the arena of Parkinson's really evolves recently, at least, is what I found, around this one protein that's called A-synuclein. And it's a natural protein that they find in the Lewis bodies of the brain cells of Parkinson's. Now, these Lewis bodies, they are really a microscopic marker for Parkinson's. They're unique to Parkinson's. And now these proteins within these Lewis bodies, within the brain cells of Parkinson's people, they aggregate, they basically clump together. And they think that may be the cause of many of those symptoms where we lose a lot of those neurons, right? So that's where the recent research is trying to find the cause. Now, again, we believe they're not going to find the cause because we believe the cause is toxemia, okay? So let's get into Jennifer's story today and go from there. Jennifer, how did you start the Teen Gateway to Cure, and what is the foundation's purpose?
Sure. Before I answer that, I can't see you.
That's okay. The viewers can see both of us.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, I can't see you.
Oh. Okay. You're good. You're all good.
There you are. Okay, I see you now. Yeah, so Teen Gateway to a Cure started a little over 2 years ago. And before that was started, I had started a 5K run and partnered up with the Michael J. Fox Foundation. My father, Ty Cobb, same name as the baseball player, but not the same person.
Ty Cobb, yeah.
He developed Parkinson's right around the same time when Michael went public in '99, so about the same time. And as I watched him degenerate, and as I learned more about the Parkinson's disease, I wanted to raise awareness and also funds for the Michael J. Fox Foundation. So I started Soul to Soul, SOULTOSOLE. And my father has such a sweet soul, and Parkinson's affects your gait, your
Correct.
step. And so I had put on a 5K Soul to Soul run every year for a number of years. And the proceeds, the money that I raised, benefited the Michael J. Fox Foundation. And every year, Michael had honored me in New York City at the VIP Award for my efforts. And so I said to him and his team, after a few years of putting on the 5K, that I wanted to do more than just a 5K. I wanted to bring back the fun back into fundraising and really raise the bar and the awareness of not just fundraising, but also the caregivers, and raise the awareness for them. And so Michael's foundation actually gave me the name Teen Gateway to a Cure. And I collected people that I knew in the community that I wanted on my board of directors. I registered with the state and started a 501c3, Teen Gateway to a Cure, which we now know today. And I had designed the logo and sent out a press release to the city, the media, and in 2016 announced my board of directors to the public, had an unveiling of the logo, and Teen Gateway to a Cure was started. And so for a whole year, I had started collaborating together with the St. Louis Blues, the Cardinals, different comedians that I have known to put on comedy shows, strike out Parkinson's with the Cardinals, and a percentage of the money would go back to not only to the Fox Foundation, but I wanted to also collaborate efforts with the Muhammad Ali Parkinson Center, which I'm not sure if you are aware of what Muhammad Ali Parkinson Center is focused on, but their objective primarily is caregiver support.
Okay.
And as we all know, Muhammad Ali, he's an icon in the ring, the arena of boxing. And one of the things I was so honored and grateful to have met his widow, Lonnie. She had me come out to meet the doctors that are involved in the Muhammad Ali Parkinson Center. I was able to talk with her a little bit more in detail of what Muhammad's legacy stood for. In fact, before he had passed away of Parkinson's disease, he really, really wanted people to understand that the legacy he wanted to leave was focused on the support of the caregiver in the home. Because until we have a cure, we have the caregiver who takes time out of their day, every single day,
Correct.
to give back and comfort to those that are struggling with the disease of Parkinson's. And so collaborating the efforts of the two, it really made sense for Team Gateway to a Cure to really focus on not just fundraising, because we don't have a cure yet.
Mm-hmm.
The other side of the disease is the hope and comfort, which is the caregiver support.
Yeah.
And so my passion is really about using my platform, coming off the NFL field as an alumni cheerleader, and cheering on the caregivers and understanding what really goes behind the scenes at home on a day-to-day basis, on how the caregiver can be just as important as the medicine that the patient will take, and how important that is to the longevity of the life for those that are struggling with the Parkinson's disease.
No, that's very good to know, because when we think about charities, we think about raising money for research, but this is a lot different. So I'm glad you shared that with us, because I've had many Parkinson's patients in the clinic as a physical therapist also, and it does require a lot of hours every day to help them and take care of them, for sure. Now, since
if
you were...
you think about it, you think about every single fundraiser is raising funds for the disease.
Yes.
You have 5Ks for juvenile diabetes and cancer, and not that that's wrong, that's great. I'm so for it. The Fox Foundation. But what about the caregivers? Do you see a very fancy dinner raising money and having this awesome auction where you have hundreds of people in a room eating a 5-star meal for the caregivers?
Yes.
Do you see a 5K run or a walk for a caregiver? You don't.
No, you don't.
You see
No.
fundraising for money for research, which is great. So that's why it made so much sense for me to use my voice and my platform to cheer on the caregivers, the other side of the disease.
Yes.
That's behind the scenes that people don't talk about.
No.
So I'm a caregiver. I'm an adult child loving my father. And my mother's a caregiver. She loves dad so much. And my siblings, you have grandkids that are also caregivers. So where is their recognition? And so I thought it was very, very important that after meeting with Lonnie Ali, the widow of Muhammad, and really researching what Muhammad's legacy stood for, it just was so heartwarming in my heart, because I totally understood, and deep down as a caregiver, connected so much to what his story was, that I wanted to raise awareness in that perspective.
No, that's great. Now, since you were a cheerleader for the Rams, Jennifer, what experiences did you take from being in such an organization, and how did you apply them to your life?
Yeah, so many may not know this, but when you sign with the NFL, you sign a contract. And just like the players, the cheerleaders also. And there's a certain amount of charity requirements that we are required to do each season. And not just playing and practicing and performing on the field as cheerleaders and players, but the flip side to our job is giving back to the community. And so I got a little taste of that with NFL, and I'm so grateful. And so that really opened the philanthropy heart
Yes.
that door in my heart to kind of, have a little taste of what that was like. And so having the networking throughout the years and the people that I was so grateful to have met really stood by me when I started Teen Gateway. And it is today the success because of the village that I had, the friendships, the networks, and the people that I have, the loyal friendships that I have today because of this. That's one of the reasons why Teen Gateway to a Cure has been so successful.
Good, good, good. Now, we heard you work closely together with the Muhammad Ali and also the Michael J. Fox Foundation, right? So what advice would you give to individuals who have family members that suffer from this Parkinson's disease?
Yeah, so there's so much that goes into caregiver support and what that really looks like. And most often when I talk and speak at these caregiver conferences, one of the biggest questions that I get from the audience is how to meet them where they're at and how to let go of emotional history. And what I mean by that is many times people who are caring, adult children who are caring for their parents, are going through being a parent themselves and caring for their own children. And so sometimes there's some emotional history that isn't so great from their parent.
Yes.
Meaning, why should I take care of my father? He was never there for me with my football practices and never showed up to any of my games. So now he's sick and he expects me to stop my life. I'm trying to build a career. I'm taking care of little kids, and now they want me to take care of him. Why should I care for mom? She was never there for me for my ballet lessons or never attended any of my ballet classes at all. And now she wants me to stop my life and figure out how to care for her. So there's a lot of emotional history. And so it's really, really important that we trauma bond together, meaning to collaborate our stories and share them with other caregivers, because there's so much power in letting go of the past and how to meet that person who's struggling with Parkinson's or whatever disease. The common denominator with that is to give hope and comfort back to those that are going through it. But how you let go of the emotional history is that person is not the same father, they're not the same mother, they're not the same person they were when they were caring for you.
Yes.
And so it's really important that you allow yourself permission to let go of that, journal, whatever it is, trauma bond with others that are going through the same thing. So it brings some validity back to what you're feeling, and to meet the person where they're at and give them some hope and comfort. And I have lots of ideas on what it looks like to be a really good caregiver.
Well, it's great. You're giving us already ideas. First of all, your organization is different in that it supports the caregivers. And then, it's important for people that deal with Parkinson's in their family that they reach out to those foundations, basically to learn much more about this and how to take care of their parents, their emotional effect, but also, I guess, support, right? Just to feel that you're not alone in this world dealing with these type of disease. Now, how do you, Jennifer? Yeah.
I mean, one of the things that you and I are doing at this moment is we're collaborating our stories.
Yes.
And we're using technology to share our stories to reach other people's stories. I mean, if you look at social media now, what's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? Yeah. You turn on your social media and you look at the comments after a post. Well, those comments are stories.
Yes.
We're all sharing our stories, and good for us, because if it wasn't for social media and the platforms that we have today, we wouldn't be able to share our stories. Mm-hmm. Where do you think my dad goes when he's finished doing a workout at the YMCA? He's all showered and he's done, and he's walking over to that round table where all the fellas sit.
Yeah.
He grabs a cup of coffee and he sits down, and what do you think they talk about?
Share stories.
They
Yeah.
talk about their stories, they trauma bond, they talk dude stuff, and they understand each other's language. And sometimes they listen to each other's stories more than they do the doctor in the office when they're sitting there for 15
The doctor doesn't have any time. Yeah.
So there's something so incredibly special and important when we trauma bond and we share and we support each other when we share our stories.
Yes.
Because that means that we both get it. When my dad is talking to other dudes and they're dude talking and sharing their stories
Yes.
of how they get through their day, there's so much magic in that. I mean, there's no price on that. It's priceless. It's incredible how motivating that is to someone who's suffering from Parkinson's.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the big pluses of all those local Parkinson's organizations, to come together and people understand you and listen to the stories and get the support and get the exchange of ideas also. Now, how, Jennifer, do you balance your family and personal life with this nonprofit organization of yours?
Well, I support my family. We collaborate together. We share our stories. We help each other. When you're in a situation where it's really difficult or challenging, the idea sharing is so powerful. It gets us all through the day, because at the end of the day, we're all not alone. If you chose to be alone, it's because you've already made that choice.
Yes.
You're not alone. There's always an outlet. You can always reach out, whether it's through social media, through a friend, through an awareness support group. I mean, now the insurance companies are looking at caregivers as the second patient. Hospitals are now putting and installing these caregiver support programs because the insurance companies are recognizing that the caregivers also go through depression, anxiety, financial
hardship,
especially if you're a low-income senior and you can't drive to your medical appointments or you can't afford the medicine. So the insurance companies are looking at them as the second patient. And if they're not okay, who's going to take care of them, the one that's going through the disease? So it's really a huge benefit that the caregiver is really in a great spot.
Yes.
Emotionally, physically, financially, the support is there. And so what does that support look like? And if you look at the family dynamic, the friendship dynamic, and the culture all around, it's so powerful, and it can be really great for that person that's going through the disease.
Yes, excellent. Now, you obviously are a role model for many people. What encouragement could you give women about overcoming fears and staying authentic in this still male-dominating society?
In fear in terms of being a caregiver?
No, just in general, you know, you are a role model now. You know, you were the cheerleader, you used that platform, you achieved a lot of things, you work with these foundations, people look up to you, you do speaking engagements. So I assume you're a role model in that arena. And so what would you say to other women that are a little bit fearful still, and they are about staying authentic in this mostly male-dominant society still? What advice would you give women?
Well, I think my passion and my voice and the things that I share is incredibly heroic. That powerful, the words that I speak of can be so helpful to other women because they can use those tools to bring themselves their own power, and power builds confidence, and confidence builds character. And so when you have that self-awareness, it really speaks volumes to you as an individual. And so with that being said, I think it's important that we self-aware, we come to terms with, who we are, why we are, where we are, and how we can benefit those in front of us as a tool to help better other people. And so I'm just using this platform and speaking my story and using the things that I'm going through to better other women. And I hope and I pray that they use those tools that I speak of to help better themselves, so then they can continue to better others. So it's kind of a domino effect.
Sure. Well, yeah, you got to have a story, you got to have an experience, and then you got to be compassionate about it. And then probably you need to acquire skills like yourself to, to be effective as a role model. Now, you've been dealing with your dad as a Parkinson's patient, and I, as a therapist and a physician, have been, treating Parkinson's patients also. So I only can imagine, on a daily basis, on not only how much work, but how much patience that you have to have with these types of people. Explain a little bit about the patience aspect.
Yeah, it's very challenging, and there does have a lot of patients attached to caring for them. One of the things that my mother said was, she said, "You know what, Jennifer, I think I've got the best idea. Let's hire a personal trainer 7 days a week for 2 hours. Dad will work. She'll come to the house. She'll work on all his physical, bring him confidence. It'll help with the nutrition part and the physical workouts, and just all of these things that I know that's going to just change, and it's going to really make an impact on the trajectory of where this disease is going." And I said, "Okay, Dad, you want to work out with a trainer 2 hours a day, 7 days a week?" He looked at me and he said, "No." I said, "Okay. What do you want to do?" And he said, "I just want to watch movies and play with puzzles and go for walks and enjoy my family." Does 2 hours a day, 7 days a week, really going to reverse tide and bring him back to when he was 30? Is it really going to change his life dramatically, enhance all of these things that you desire for him? No. You know what Ty wants to do? Ty wants you to love him where he's at, give him hope and comfort, and just enjoy who he is. And what is Ty? Ty likes to do puzzles. Ty likes to chill out and watch movies. He likes to go for walks at the botanical garden. He likes to cook. Everybody stand around. Let's cook a meal together. Let's engage and remember stories of growing up and the funny things that used to happen as kids. And I mean, there is so much magic in that right there, that if you think for 1 minute that hiring a trainer and doing all of this stuff, that you're going to come in and rescue, because sometimes our job as a caregiver is not to always be the rescuer. Sometimes our job as a caregiver is just to be still, don't try to overthink it, love them, give them some comfort and hope, and just enjoy where they're at in their life.
Yes. Not the past, not the future, not the cure. Yes.
Don't just talk about medicine. Don't just talk about therapy. Don't talk about the disease, because that's not Ty. Ty's more than the disease. Ty's more authentic in who he is and these other factors of what he enjoys. And I think it's really, really important when you look at all of the things that go into being a good caregiver, that sometimes we are the ones that put so much pressure on ourselves because we want to come in and rescue.
Yes.
We want to be the God Junior. We want to come in and take care. And that is so much pressure that's attached to so much emotional history. And that's why a lot of people don't want to take it on, because the fear of not living up to being that 100% hero in their own mind.
Yes.
That's why a lot of people don't pursue being a good caregiver.
No, that makes complete sense. It's very good to hear that from you. Now, back to the cheerleading, because I know a lot of professional athletes. Some of my friends are, alumni NFL players also. So when you're one of those stars or athletes, when your career is over, many times there's this emptiness because a lot of those people don't know what's next. And I assume for a cheerleader, it's the same thing. Suddenly that cheerleading career is over. And then there's a big question, what's next? So did you have a plan or a backup plan after the cheerleading?
Yeah, so many times the girls, you obviously don't cheer for the NFL for a paycheck. The players make a lot of money and they're played and they're there on the field as a job, and that's to perform. And we are as well on the field to perform, to really engage the audience and get them excited about what's happening on the field. Off of the field, we are an ambassador for the NFL, and it never stops. We will forever continue to be part of the NFL family. And with that being said, the NFL is very strategic in who they choose to represent the team. Mm-hmm. And it goes also for the players. There's more than just, okay, you can
throw a ball.
Yeah. There's more, there's a character, there's how you represent the team and the whole company off of the field. And the same goes for the cheerleaders. So a lot of times these girls are students, they have other careers, they're applying 30-some hours a week to practices, charity events, public appearances, and game day. But they're also working full-time jobs, they're going to full-time school, and so they've already have a good trajectory plan moving forward. But also, I myself, you really don't hear much of NFL cheerleaders, alumni that start their own 501c3 charities, and I am one of very few. And so I've used the platform and the networking that I've achieved throughout the years to help launch Team Gateway to a Cure and to bring it to where it's at today. Did I think when I was on the field back during the greatest team on turf that I would one day have my own foundation and run it? Probably not. Mm-hmm. But I knew that there was something inside of me that was very philanthropic that I would attach myself to one day. And when my father was diagnosed with Parkinson's, it all just made sense.
Sure. Now, if we could go like Michael J. Fox back into the future, but if you could go back into the past and you could tell the 19-year-old Jennifer something or give her advice, what would that be?
My advice really would just stay true to yourself and drive your passion, because the passion will open the doors. And I think it's a true test of character. Many times we try to fill a void of the unknown by a lot of busy stuff that we're really not happy with. And I think it's important that we find what our passion is. I love animals, but that doesn't necessarily mean I want to be a vet. I love children, but that doesn't necessarily mean I want to be a teacher. So it's important that you look at what you're really passionate about and to use that passion to drive. And I think if I go back to the Jennifer when I was on the field, it's just really hard because I'm so much more mature through life that if I could use those words, that's probably what I would say to her, is not try to figure it out so quickly and so fast, just have patience. I was, coming off the field and starting a career and I wanted so instant gratification right now. And something told me to just, chill out. Don't try to overthink it. Just have patience. And I did. And now I'm living and reaping the benefits of the patience that I drove all those years. And I'm allowing myself to use that now, driving the foundation.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer. Can you tell the viewers on where they can check you out, the website, contact information?
Sure. I'm on LinkedIn, Jennifer Cobb, Team Gateway to a Cure. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Jennifer Cobb, Team Gateway to a Cure. Website is www.teamgatewaytoacure.org. If you want more information on caregiver support, as well as if you know somebody who's struggling with Parkinson's or any brain disease, Lewy bodies, Alzheimer's, dementia, ALS, MS, concussions, you can go to the website, teamgatewaytoacure.org, and reach out to us. And if you have a loved one that you've lost and you'd like to make a donation in memory or honor of them, you can do that through the website as well.
And it also would be a platform for people that need help or support, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I answer every email and everything that comes through the foundation, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. And if your listeners and viewers have questions that they want to send to you, and you want to do a live Q&A where I come back on and answer questions to help, I'm happy to do that anytime.
Excellent. Well, Jennifer, thank you so very much for your time. I think you're doing something great. Again, people, if you are part of a charity or one of volunteer, you're not only helping others, but you're really helping yourself. It feels really good to help other people, isn't it, Jennifer?
It is, and I think we all have that in our heart.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes there's fear attached to it, and sometimes there's the unknown. So don't let that stop you moving forward. You can always reach out and have a buddy system. Again, going back to what we said earlier, Dr. Mike, it's sharing our stories.
Yes,
is so powerful, and trauma bonding, because there's some trauma somehow in some way in all of us. And if we collaborate together, it's just so much stronger moving forward.
No, I totally agree. Well, good luck to your dad. Good luck to the foundation, and we'll stay in touch.
Thank you so much for having me on. And
you are welcome.
God bless you and everybody.